Hey there, for today's video I'm going to do a very long-term review on the Leatherman Rebar here. This is about 4 years old and it's definitely been my go-to house multi-tool for that whole time pretty much. I've taken it camping, I've done all sorts of things with this, and you know what, I'll just start by saying this is my favourite Leatherman. It really is. I like the Skeletal a lot, but in terms of just being a pure multi-tool, this one, in my opinion, is the best. In case you're wondering, this isn't the stock sheath, this is an RAE gear Leatherman holder, which is a really cool way of holding it on your belt. I've done a separate review on this just recently, so you can, I'll link that in a card up the top if you're curious. Really good way of holding your Leatherman. Anyway, time marches on. Let's have a good look at the tool. The basic specs, this weighs about 180 grams, 190 grams or so. So it's pretty compact compared to lots of other Leathermans. The Surge, for example, weighs about 330 grams. The Wave weighs about 250 grams. There's a line of Leathermans that are smaller than this, the Juice, but they're all much more light duty. So this is about the best compromise between size and performance, in my opinion. So 4 inches is the total closed length, whereas the larger tools would be about your 4.5 or your 5. So, as you can see, it's got no outside opening tools, which in my 4 years of using it, I haven't really been too bothered about. People go on about how the Wave was it's the best one because you can get to everything straight away. I can see that might be an issue if this was the only tool you carried and you wanted your knife out really quickly, but I think most of us gear guys carry a pocket knife anyway, and surely just doing this to pull your knife out isn't too much of a time-sensitive thing. The only other issue, I guess, between not having them outside opening that I've found is sometimes I would rather not have to hold it like this. So sometimes, because if you close the tool, this is a good way of using the knife, so you have sort of the rest of the tool hanging out the back there. If you close the tool, you do get a bit of space here that kind of makes that first portion of the blade a bit void. It's the only thing I could really think of to knock the whole design, because really not having the outside tool makes it much smoother in pocket, much less jagged, just comfier to hold, and because they go ahead and round over these other parts here, it's still really comfortable to use as pliers as well. Anyway, tool review time. The tools on the outside, really the only thing on the outside is the rulers and the lock. So the rulers, inches on one side, centimeters on the other. I use them from time to time when I'm measuring like a pipe fitting or something similar to that, and these are the locks for all the inside tools. The locks, you can see, very, very simple. Just this piece of steel is sprung against this lock here, and this holds a little bar in place at the back here, which then when the tools are open, locks into place. So that's the locks and the rulers on the outside. Okay, so start off with serrated knife. Yeah, it's good use against rope. I use it from time to time. It's 420HC, just like the other blade in it. It's probably the one that's going to last the longest because of the serrations. The plain edges in 420HC dull really, really quickly. It's seen a reasonable amount of use. The can opener doesn't see any use at all, but I have used the wire stripper from time to time on electrical wire. No problems at all when you're splicing an old plug onto a new wire, something similar to that. I have actually used that part and it is effective. Phillips head driver is a good one. Nice and long and three-dimensional. Lots of multi-tools have a two-dimensional Phillips, which sucks, or it's really, really short like on the Juice. This is a really good length, gets into most recesses. It's about a number, what is it, I might even have a number on it. It's number 2, I think, Phillips, so it's a bit wide. Where are we? Best to zoom in and keep it in the light. It is a little bit wide for some focus. For some recesses, probably a little bit thick, but apart from that, it's good all-purpose screwdriver. It's never going to strip out because it's nice and sturdy. What else have we got on this side? We've got a wood saw. Yeah, they put wood saws on pretty much every multi-tool. I don't know, this one does work, but it's always going to be a very short saw. Do you need a saw that short? I don't know. I don't really, but I guess it's fun to use from time to time. To be honest, the main thing I use my multi-tools for is the pliers and the knife and the file, and sometimes the serrated blade and the drivers. So pretty much everything else from that is just a bit redundant. because I've probably got a better tool for the job. So the file is good. I use the file a lot for cleaning up harsh edges. When you get something that's a bit cheaper, maybe for like, you know, around the house, like a bit of furniture or something, it's always got sort of crummy edges or like staples that have come through. Like on my couch even, my couch wasn't cheap, but there's a couple of just staples from where they've attached the upholstery, and it was always catching on the kids. So you just filed them down. This file has been used a whole lot. And this side here actually does a reasonable job at cutting metal in half as well. It's obviously the right type of steel to be used for a sort of mini hacksaw there. So you've got wood on one side, you've got checkered metal on the other. It's a good tool. I've got a series of flat drivers which all work just fine. So you've got medium flat, large flat, and then you've got an awl in the middle. The awl's not too bad. It's not as good as the Victorinox awl, but it'll punch a hole in leather if you want. And the two drivers do just fine, turning flat-headed screws. I got a lanyard loop as well. I often do keep this on a lanyard hanging up on the wall just next to the back door. So I'm not doing it now because I've taken it off so I can wear it in my new little sheath. And the plain edge knife, yeah, you can see it's gets a bit of rust on it. Hard to keep the rust off of. Matte finished 420HC, it really is. This, you know, it sharpens up easily enough. To be honest, I don't use it that much. I use the serrated a whole lot more because I've usually got a much better knife in my pocket, but I'll use it for something terrible, like if I'm going to cut carpet against concrete or something, this will be the knife that I use. And then finally so that's the inside tool selection. So moving on to the pliers, plier head's really, really good. It's a nice, fully robust and capable plier head, unlike sort of the Juice or the Skeletal. It's got 154 cm cutters in there. It's got different types of grip. The knurling here is probably a little bit short. I'd love for this plier head to be just a tad bigger, but you know, sacrifices and all that. Nice sort of acute tip, comes together really well. The best thing about this tool is the fit and finish hasn't really decreased while I've had it. So nothing's gone loose, nothing's gone wobbly. On my Swiss tool, it's gone a bit wobbly and loose. On this one, no problems with that at all. It's still as solid as the day I got it. Really, really well made. Really good craftsmanship on this Leatherman Rebar here. You get these for about $100 now. They've gone up a fair bit. I remember I got this for $65 with a micro back in into 2012. But they've gone up a bit, but even at $100, it's still cheaper than a lot of other sort of non-horrible branded multi-tools. Even Gerber's will be more money than this, and this is better than any Gerber multi-tool I've had in terms of overall quality and, you know, the tools having nice clean edges and things. So I'd probably go ahead and say the best sort of all-the-time carry, or, you know, any purpose multi-tool. Yeah, the bigger, heavier ones might be good if you're working like a metal shop or on a job site or something like that, but then they're not as fun to carry around all day. You can quite happily keep this in a pocket because it's smooth on the outside, because it's relatively light and thin. Yeah, you would notice it's there, but definitely pocketable, and with, you know, a cool holder like this, definitely EDC-able as well. So yeah, I really couldn't knock it. And if you're up in the air about which multi-tool to get someone, you always start with the Rebar, I say. Rebar or a Wave, but I do prefer the Rebar, I must say. I'm not the biggest user of the scissors on the multi-tools. I think some people like all these things on multi-tools just to know that they're there, but really, no issues at all. Variations, this comes in a black oxide version, and it also comes in a knifeless version with scissors. That's good if you're worried about sort of taking it to the airport or something. I guess they'd probably have a lesser chance of seizing it, but really I'd just be going with the basic Rebar. Black oxide tends to make it a bit less fun to open, and it sort of wears off pretty quickly as well, so, and it leaves black on your hands. So I'd go with the standard Rebar in silver or in shiny satin. That's my little review today. That's my video of the day, so I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.